Every Christian should watch this video at least once. And the reason I say this is because every time I see this video pop up on my timeline or my, just TikTok or anything, it always leaves me stunned. And it's about this guy named Wayne Cordero. Basically, he tells a story of his trips going to China, the underground church in China, teaching them leadership. And the stories this man tells of their dedication, of their persecution, will leave you shocked and convict you as well, which I hope it does. It's what it did for me. I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna show you guys the testimony. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. As always, I'll probably pause here and there to let you know my commentary on it. But yeah, let's get straight into it. This is Church in China by Wayne Cordero. Man, I'm excited for this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This video has been like on Christian TikTok or any Christian video category, top 5 most convicting videos I've ever watched in my life. Literally, after watching videos like this, I feel like bad at my walk with Christ, like in a good way. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm so blessed with all the things that I have, and there's certain people out there, certain groups and demographics who are not as blessed or lucky as we are, living in the West, being comfortable day to day. But yeah, I'm not gonna speak anymore. Let's get straight into it.
Let me finish with this story. We go to China from time to time, and we train leaders. And this time we brought up 22 leaders from the Hunan province, and they rode 13 hours on a train to get to a hotel that they came up 2 by 2 in these elevators so as to not draw any attention. And then they got to a hotel room, a little apartment room. It's only about 700 square feet. In the little living room, no air conditioning, hardwood floor, 22 sat there. I came in, and when you teach in China, you start at 8 in the morning and you don't get done till 5 at night. You teach the whole day.
Yeah, just right there. I mean, I'm pretty sure any of us can add on to this. But a 13-hour train ride to get there, to get to the hotel. And then once they get there, the church in China, the teaching in China is that long because obviously for many reasons, safety reasons, or just not being able to have, the capacity to always have church services the day they do, they have it for 6 hours, I believe. I can even just put this into my own life. A perfect example I could give: Bible studies, at home Bible studies. I go to some here and there. There's some houses that I go to, their air conditioning is not good, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be here no more. It's hot, bro. I can't focus. And then you look at the church in China, the underground church. He just said it. They go by 2 by 2 to the hotel, to avoid suspicion. They're all like literally packed in like sardines for 6 hours straight after a 13-hour train ride. And this is only the beginning of what he's going to talk about. But oh my goodness, let that conviction roll in.
They were sitting there, all 22 of them, and I looked around and I said, now, if we get caught, what will happen to me? They said, oh, you'll get deported in 24 hours and we'll go to prison for 3 years. I said, you're kidding. How many of you have been in prison for your faith? Out of 22, 18 raised their hands.
Sheesh.
I thought, no way. And I looked at him and I said, you 22 people, how many people do you oversee? Because they were all of these small group leaders, underground church leaders in the Hunan province. I said, how many, if you counted up all the people under your jurisdiction, how many would it be? And they counted them up and they said, little over 20 million. I said, what? See, we forget there's 1.3 billion people in China. This is crazy. Well, I had 15 Bibles and I passed them out. Obviously, 7 didn't get them. And I said, let's turn to 2 Peter chapter 1 and we're going to read it. And just then.
And then this part is what really gets me. I really want you guys to focus on this part. This part literally is like amazing to hear. And I hope it can encourage all of us to be in the same mindset.
One lady handed hers to, and I said, let's turn to 2 Peter chapter 1 and we're going to read it. And just then one lady handed hers to somebody next to her. And I thought, interesting. Well, we turned there anyway, and as we started reading it, I understood why she gave it away. She had memorized the whole thing. She just recited the whole chapter. When it was done, I went over to her at a break, and I said, you recited the whole chapter. She says, oh, yes, I've memorized many chapters. I said, where did you memorize so many chapters? She said, in prison. I said, you have much time in prison. So I said, but don't they confiscate the Bible? And she said, yes. So people bring in scriptures written on pieces of paper, and they bring it in. So I said, but then if they find that piece of paper on you, won't they confiscate that? She said, oh, yes, that's why you memorize it as fast as you can.
And look, I'm not one to, like call anybody who's living in comfort, any of us who live in America at least, I'm not gonna try to dunk on us for, being in a blessed country, a country that gives us rights, religious rights. But at the same time, we see all throughout scripture that whenever the church is under heavy persecution, that is a moment in time where they're the most disciplined, or they're the most, like, their faith is tested, but it produces good fruit. And I'm not wishing anything on us as well, because, who wants to be in persecution? Why not just serve God in freedom while there is, all these freedoms as we have in America? But just hearing that, though, there's people out there in that church who memorize chapters of scripture, like, just off of paper, because of fear, because they don't have the Bible, they get their Bible stolen from them or taken from them when they go to prison. And I'm just like, bruh, I'm the same person who sometimes there's some books in the Bible that I haven't even read like that. Like, as of recently, the Book of Lamentations. I didn't even know what the Book of Lamentations was about. And it's not because something was keeping me from reading it. I just didn't get to read it. I was too busy with other things, or I was too busy reading other books, But, and I know some people who, like, you ask them to go to a book in the New Testament, they'll flip into the Old Testament. Nothing bad on their part, but at the same time, just like, we're blessed with all these Bibles. And I think in America, there's literally 2 or 3 Bibles in every home, every family. But yet, the major percentage of Christians in America have not read their full Bible completely from front to back. They don't, understand even the gospel, the smallest thing, the most basic, essential thing of the faith. And that's a problem, I'm not gonna lie. And that's a problem on my end. That's a problem on anybody's end that lives in America, that lives in comfort. Because there's people over there who are literally like, the Bible means like so much to them. Like, if you give them a gift of the Bible, they will literally like cherish it more than any other gift you can give them, monetary or anything else. So I'm just sitting here, like, when I seen this video, every time it pops up, I'm just like, what? Like, there's other Christians out there who are different. They're a different breed. Hopefully we can all be like them one day.
Because even though they can take the paper away, they can't take what's hidden in your heart.
Exactly.
I thought, wow. Well, after 3 days, you fall in love with these people. And when it was done, I said, how can I pray for you? I'm going to go back to America, and you guys have been just so wonderful. How can I pray for you? They said, Wayne, you guys can gather like this whenever you want to in America. We can't. Could you pray that one day we'll be just like you?
No.
And I looked at him and I said, I will not do that. Big, incredulous eyes looked at me and they said, why? I said, because you guys rode a train for 13 hours to get here. In my country, if you've got to drive more than an hour, people don't come. On the floor for 3 days. In my country, if people have to sit more than 40 minutes, they leave.
Sheesh.
You sat not only here for 3 days on a hard wooden floor, but you did it without air conditioning.
I forgot that part. 3 days straight. 6 hours, no air conditioning. Oh my goodness.
My country, if it's not padded pews and air conditioning, people don't often come back. In my country, we have an average of 2 Bibles per family. We don't read any of them. You hardly have any Bibles, and you memorize them from pieces of paper. I will not pray that we become like, you become like us, but I will pray that we become just like you.
And I think that's everyone's prayer, that we become more like them. Not that there's anything, like, then it's not like they're varsity Christians and we're JV Christians, but just that hunger. That's all it really is. It's that hunger that you tend to see from people who are following Christ in places where it's not legal or it's not, it's frowned upon. It's just different with them. You see something different inside of them that they would literally, like, it means so much more to them than it does to us. And that's just, it's evident. So what can we take away from all this besides that amazing message? And it's one verse that I really thought of that really came to my head. And it's found in Isaiah 55, verse 6. And it says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. That's basically it. That's what, at least what spoke to me. And I hope it speaks to you guys as well, that Yes, we are living in, comfort now. And it's not bad. It's okay. Like, we don't always have to be in persecution. But in our comfort and in our many freedoms, let's find God now. Let's seek him out now. Let's search him now. For example, like it talks about in the days of Noah, they were eating and, drinking and having weddings and just having a great time. Then the flood came. But in the times of now, the times of peace, times of, prosperity, seek God, let God use you. And then when the dark times come, when the persecution, when, tragedy comes, still hold on to God even more then, Don't let that be the reason you come to God. Or for many people, when hard times come, they're going to forsake God even more. We see that in Revelation as well. But at least that's what it spoke to me. And I hope this video convicted you guys. I really feel like this video should be mandatory for any Christian. Just to show you, like, the church in America is not the main church out there. There's many other churches out there. And we're all one body. But there's other people who are literally walking out Christianity in much harsher circumstances. And, we see God moving with them as well. So this should be convicting for us. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you thought about it, if it convicted you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.